What is up YouTube, and welcome to this Walking Dead Season 10, Episode 17 breakdown, recap and review. It's been a while since we've been in the world of The Walking Dead, albeit we did have Fear the Walking Dead in the meantime, but thanks to COVID, the show is all over the place, with the final season coming in the summer in lieu of its usual October release, and I did really miss the shows in October. While this felt like a new season due to the time between the last episode, Season 10 has suffered heavily, like most shows nearing its end when the pandemic started. The Flash was the biggest loser, having to create a season finale from a random episode near the end of the season, and The Walking Dead did pretty much have to do that as well. However, here we are returning after just one episode in October, and it's still Season 10. This is the season that feels like it will never actually end. With that in mind, the October episode ended with Eugene finding my favourite character, Princess, and then coming across the Commonwealth, the sort of end game for the comic, and I presume the show as well, if it is going to end in the same way. However, we had an episode this week that focused solely on the return of Maggie, and it was great to see her again, and those scenes with Daryl felt very special. However, the episode, in the usual Walking Dead way, provides not much resolution on huge setups and dragged out almost everything as we're heading towards the end of the franchise, or at least a new end of the franchise or new beginning, with the CRM being shown in the world beyond. Now, before we head into the episode breakdown, please do drop a like down below if you enjoyed the video and subscribe with notifications on to never miss a video. So we open with Maggie returning, and it is the payoff of last episode, and like I said, it's a joy to see her return, and I felt her absence was really big during the whole time jump and things like that. I know there was contract negotiations and all that rubbish, but if we had a split show with her story being told concurrently, it would have made for a much more interesting dynamic, although Season 10 as a whole with the Whisperers was very strong, but after all this time, she's finally decided to return home as her settlement was destroyed, and she's brought her new flock with her home to Hilltop, except plot twist, has been destroyed, and Carol drops the bombshell that Negan helped kill Alpha and stop the Whisperers. Maggie almost comes face to face with Negan this episode, and well, this is a big focal point as he has been rehabilitated, but her trauma is raw there, and the actress played a great role there, coming face to face with him. And her trauma is raw, and really she has no reason to accept him after what he did, and it was so very brutal. Bruce Wayne's parents turned up here for the performance, and the friction between the pair is going to be great to watch, and I'm excited to see what they do next with these two. However, Daryl heads off with Maggie to get her group and bring them to their new settlement, along with Kelly to bring them to Alexandria. Well, while the show's writers say this is a group of mini episodes to lay the seeds of the final episode and season, well, this is curious because, well, this felt like any other episode, and they're trying to kind of mitigate any disappointment. And, well, this was a slow episode after what we had in October. This is no different, and, well, the dull fetch and escort episodes where very long periods are spent walking through the woods and not much happens, well, yep, it's here, but the action did pick up later on and was shot very well. The group, complete with mysterious masked man, arrive at a container yard. They're forced to stay there due to, well, the whole losing sunlight situation, and it is infested, so they haven't got the best options. They clear the walkers, but we finally get some time between Daryl and Maggie, and these two, I think personally, are the strongest parts of the show and have been the strongest parts of the show for a very long time. And we learn what our girl has been up to as well, as we hear she was just doing what Georgie was doing and going around settlement to settlement and providing help, and they would move on when they fail. However, we don't really learn what Georgie did or where she went, and I am worried that she is going to be the placeholder for the original leader in the comics of the Commonwealth. I did actually do a video on that on my channel way back when she was first introduced, and I did think that that would happen. And to be honest, I am worried. I've seen a few people on Reddit have the same worries that that's going to happen. but I guess that is natural for the show. And just like the MCU, they don't have to strictly stick to the comics, and you can kind of chop and change things up as well. But we learned that she got a nice settlement going in Knoxville, which got destroyed, and she also spent some time at her grandmother's place by the ocean. But it does seem clear that they were running from these Reapers, which is why she brought her group of people here where she perceived they would be safe. But yeah, it's not very good, as she has also been running from what happened to Glenn and the aftermath of the Savior's War and the Whisperers and all that kind of craziness. Now, the next day they wake up, except Kelly, who was on watch, has gone missing, but we see that she is looking for Connie, who they don't know is actually alive after the cave battle and was taken by Virgil. I really like that episode with Michonne and Virgil as we learn his origins, and I'm interested in if they'll turn him into another Morgan, but Daryl did try looking for her, as we mentioned, but her fate of yet is actually up in the air in the characters' eyes at least. They eventually reach where some of Maggie's new group are, except it's been burned down, and Herschel, the child, is missing, and we learn that they are being stalked by the Reapers, who they thought they had escaped. Well, while looking for the survivors of the Reaper attack, we finally learn just what's under the mask of Elijah, and yeah, just a dude. Wow. Everyone thought it'd be like Morgan, or it'd be kind of Heath, or it'd be someone else returning. Yeah, obviously there's a storyline here that it's someone vulnerable trying to turn themselves into something of a legend, as the dude is absolute beast mode. But that would have been good if we weren't set up for it to be someone really cool. But yeah, that reveal was a bit of a fail. But I'm excited to see where that character goes next nonetheless. We move into some actual action this episode, where a lone gunman is attacking the displaced survivors of Maggie's group, and this scene was shot expertly, which I loved. A lot of the time the show is so dang dark, you can't see what's going on, but I think that the people being shot here reminded me of that part in Saving Private Ryan where they reach the town with a sniper. And I would really like to see a militia-based soldier spin-off, a actual CRM spin-off where we see soldiers go around and try and navigate this world. I'm not talking a CW Walking Dead, which we got with Beyond. Yeah, you can check out the ending explained of that on my channel if you want. But eventually they reach the gunman, who's clearly a Reaper in full militia gear, and ghillie suit as Daryl and Maggie are downed in a really tense few shots. However, he gets stabbed and the interrogation begins. We learn that someone called Pope marked them, and it's evident that Maggie hasn't told Daryl the full story of what has happened. Originally, some of this story was going to be cut and it was going to be displaced, but it's interesting that we have a new villain, and I hope it's not just an enemy group that is just a stepping stone to a bigger villain and they're not really used. The smaller tier villains aren't really used or fleshed out that much. And I'm hoping this isn't just a group of survivors, this is a military group that's sent in, and it would be a different kind of dynamic, a real expert group as opposed to a bunch of wannabe warlords like Negan and Alpha. But it's going to be curious to see what they do with this. But Pope sounds religious, and I imagine a militia weren't happy about Maggie going around and providing aid to her friends in a Negan-style situation. But really, any group like this is going to be a direct comparison to the survivors. But the group arrive at Alexandria post-Whisperer's War, and Maggie and Herschel are able to build a home, but the looming conflict of Negan is just too juicy to ignore and look forward to. In my eyes, Maggie should be the leader of the entire survivors, and I'm not looking forward to a power struggle, which it's really been done. At this point, almost every story has actually been done, but it's about how they tell it. And with the actress Lauren Cohan, who plays Maggie, I think that they're really going to have a real turn-up situation here. It's going to be great. But I'm looking forward to see where this goes next. I will be covering this weekly. I haven't done this for quite a few years. Walking Dead, I've had a few breaks on YouTube, but I'm back here. So please do drop a like down below. Please do subscribe with notifications on. We cover American Gods, Snowpiercer, and WandaVision or weekly, and I will be doing all things Falcon and the Winter Soldier as well, so do stick with us throughout that. It's going to be fun, and drop your comments below and check out my Discord in the description. I'll see you soon, and goodbye.